Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Adult Arts and Crafts from the Warren County Library. My name is Mary Ellen and today we're going to make some ornaments from paper towel rolls. You could have wrapping paper rolls, you could have toilet paper rolls, whatever you have. We're going to make some stars, we're going to make some angels, and if you get inspired, you can even make a wreath like this. So let's jump right in and get started. I'm going to take you down onto the table so you can see some of the things that you might want to make in this way. These are some ornaments that I've made, and as you can see, they can be really simple like this. Sometimes simple and delicate is just enough. I have put some glitter on this one. If you're into glitter, I'm not a huge fan of having it all around my house, but you might want it at this season. Here's one that's a little bit more complicated, and I haven't painted it or anything, and I think that that's very pretty. I see I have some comments in there already. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you today? Great to see you here. So here's another one with the natural color, which is nice. Hi, Dot. Here's one that I painted with white, and this one has some red and some green, just like the wreath. Hi, Lynn. Glad you could make it. So here are some items you could make. Here's even a little angel that I saw on Pinterest. So I'll be showing you how to make that today too, if you don't even have a lot of paper towel rolls. I did paint this one gold, but as you can see, it doesn't really need to have a lot of shine to be pretty. So I will take this away and I'll show you what you need to do to get started. The first thing you need is you need your roll. And what you want to do is you want to flatten your roll out. So if you have a bone folder like this, you could flatten it out like this, or you could use the edge of a knife or a scissors, whatever you have. You want to make it flat because you're going to have to cut this into rings. If you're someone who uses a rotary cutter on a normal basis, you could take a ruler like this and you could cut them with your rotary cutter. But if you have nothing but scissors and a pencil and a ruler, this is how I would approach this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my ruler down right next to the edge, and I think a good size to start with are 1/2-inch rings. So I'm going to make a little chalk mark with my pencil every 1/2 inch right down the edge of this paper towel roll. Paper towel roll will get a lot of rings out of it, so it's kind of a good place to start. Oh, that one was in the wrong place, so I'm just going to move it over. It goes right here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. It's hard to pay attention while I'm talking. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So these 1/2-inch chalks will match up with the other 1/2-inch chalks on the other side. Now, if you feel you must, you can connect these like so with the pencil line. I'm going to try to do that fairly lightly. But you don't really have to be so exact with all of these. So if you feel safe eyeballing where the one mark is and the other mark is, you can start cutting them out like so. So, got my scissor here, got my roll. Now, there are different weights of rolls. Sometimes a wrapping paper roll is a lot harder to cut through than a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll. So, you might want to use different ones for different projects. On some of the more delicate ornaments, I cut my rings smaller than 1/2 inch. But a good way to start, if you haven't done it before, is to do the 1/2 inch. And you can see that is the size that I used in the wreath that I made because I wanted it to have a little bit more strength. Well, I'm going to stop there. I think you see the idea of cutting the rings out. Put that on the side. And now here we have a bunch of rings. And let's see, how will I show you? If you take the shapes that you're going to make with your rings to make the ornaments, there are only a few things. One is just the ring, like so. One is the ring folded in half into this shape. And one is a ring that you've cut in half. And I'm going to just cut this one, fold it, so I find the middle of it, and cut it in half. And see, if you glue that, you have a small ring. So do you see, those are the only 3 shapes that I have used to make any of my ornaments. So with the rings that I have now cut, let's start putting something together. I think what I'd like to do is put 5 rings together like this. So the way I would do that is I would do 2 together, 2 together, and then I would join it to the last ring. Does that make sense? So I'm going to pick up my glue, and I always kind of keep my glue laying either in a jar upside down or laying on its side. This is a tacky glue. You could use a glue gun, but I just find them so messy, and I always burn my fingers, so I'm just going to use the tacky glue in this case. So what's kind of nice about these paper towel rolls is that they're very absorbent, and they pretty much can be glued pretty quickly and hold the shape. So I'm going to put these 2 together. I hope you can see on camera. And these 2 together like so. And you really want them to dry just a little bit. So this is where you might take a clothespin. I happen to have these metal clips. I don't even know where I got them, but I've used them for other crafting too. You could also use a paper clip. So let's try with a paper clip, just to hold it together for a couple of minutes while it's drying. So here I have 2 that are well stuck together. And I'm going to now attach the 3rd one. A little too much glue there. My niece, when she was young, used to talk about glue business. And this is a project that really makes me feel like I'm involved right now in glue business. I am keeping a damp rag right next to myself to wipe it up. I understand that a great idea is to have baby wipes sitting next to you. I don't happen to have any of those sitting here today, but there we go. If the 3 of them hold together, then we can get the other 2 to hold to them. It takes a little bit of time to dry, so it's a little hard to do on camera, but I'm sure you understand what I am doing. And this one is a little bit, it's a little bit tight. There we go. So, as you can see, when this is dry, let's see if I have one here that's dry. I don't really see one. I have so many pieces here. When you have one dry, I'm going to move it off to the side. Here's one with a little bit thinner. You see, it makes a nice shape like this. Now this is one that I did that was just a little bit thinner for one of the other ornaments. And as you can see, I did exactly the same thing. I started with the same number, 2, 2, and 1. Here's the 1. That was a different size. And once they dry, they're together like so. And if you have some of these folded in half, you could glue that one right inside of there. There's some that are just folded in half. I'm not going to glue it right this moment. I'm just showing you. This would be a very nice, simple one to do, to just fold the same size ring right in half and glue it inside. Then if you happen to have some that you used just one ring, like so, you can actually put those and glue them in the center. And do you see how you begin to build up a fancier ornament? Now you could have stopped with the very first thing that we did, and that would have been good enough. And if you're doing it along with me, you can come back and watch this again and again and see how you might want to make additions. You see, I started an addition on the outside. You could start then putting even more of them around the outside. So I hope that you see the progression from a simple set of 5 or 6 that you can build outward and outward and outward to make a more complicated ornament. I hope that that is making some sense to you. And I'm going to show you how to make an angel in this way. I'll move this one to the side and some of these other pieces. Bring this over to the table. The angel is comprised of 3 rings going straight down, 3 rings that are just stacked up on top of each other, and then 1 ring that is trimmed down to make a circle. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rings in total, and you would have enough to make one of these angels. Let's see, where's the other angel? So, as you see, the first one that I showed you was painted in gold. You can always paint before or after cutting. And these are 1/2 inch rings, just like you're working with right now if you're working along with me. But if you're just watching for later, here's an idea of what you might want to do to make an angel. To do the 3 rings at the bottom, I'm going to just put some glue here, here. Pretty much put it in like maybe about 1/4 of an inch or a little more than 1/4 inch glob of glue there. I didn't need it on the outside. I'll just wipe it off. Here we go with glue business. This is why I have a damp rag next to me. And I'm going to put these 3 together. That's the way I want the skirt to look. And so when I pinch this closed, I'm going to put my clip on there. And it makes the excess glue come out because you really don't need that much glue. And we'll give that a second to dry. And the 3 that go for the wings are just stacked right on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. I've already put some glue in between them right before we began, and I put the clip on here. So it's somewhat moist still, but while it's clipped in here, I can actually spread my wings. I'm going to open them up a little bit, and so they will have a nice wing shape. Isn't this fun to do? We are recycling. We are using so much paper towel in these times, keeping things clean, keeping things sanitized. And it's nice to find something to do with those rolls that's fun. You certainly could do this project with children. If you cut the rings out for them, they could probably find lots of imaginative things to do with them. I can even open up the skirt a little bit while it's in the clip and still let that dry. And I'll show you how I did the head. You will notice that the rings have a place on all of them where they've overlapped, and sometimes it makes a very hard lump. So I feel like cutting that bit off. This one overlapped right there. And now if I want to make the head, I just kind of wrap it around and take a look at it and say, that kind of looks good. I'm going to put the glue on one side. I'm going to spread it there with my finger a little bit in honor of glue business. And then I'm going to wrap it around itself and give it a little pinch. I may take that paper clip, just give it a little clip while it dries, and it usually dries within a minute because I am using tacky glue. If you're using school glue or regular Elmer's glue, it will take a little bit longer to dry. The tacky glue soaks right into this cardboard and makes a very nice seal rather quickly. So let's see if the skirt, that's stuck enough. So you see now that it's stuck to each other, it's making a nice shape. The wings are making a nice shape. And here's the head. It's still a little bit wet, but let's see if I can take that paper clip out now. You see how fast that was? It is holding on. And it's funny, I usually find a spot where it's kind of a little bit square, and that's where I'm going to attach it to the body. So I will lay that head down onto the wing area, and then I'm going to put some glue right here on top of what I was calling the skirt. Too much glue, so I wiped it off. And I'm just going to lean it up right against these wings and set it there to dry. Now, if you're a whiz with the glue gun, you certainly could do that and be done immediately. I just kind of feel a little bit safer using the tacky glue. I don't mind giving it a couple extra minutes for it to dry, and then I can position it better in the spot that I want it. I see this piece is kind of letting go a little bit, but I'm sure you understand the process. I'm going to let that dry a little bit more before I attach it. So I'm going to put it on the side. So let's see. So if you wanted to kind of fancy things up, I would suggest, if you wanted to put a little glitter on, excuse me, you could put the glue directly on the star where you like it. I'm going to just put it here in the center, just for the heck of it. And I poured some glitter out onto a plate. And if I lay that down onto the plate and then shake it off, the center now has that lovely glitter on it. And what I could do at this point, if I wanted to, I could still add a sequin or something like that to the center. So if you have any kind of fancy trims around the house, I have here stick-on pearls. A pearl might look lovely on there. I think I'll wait for the glitter to dry, and I might just put a pearl on there. The other idea that I had, that I tried on a couple of these, was taking a little charm that I have, punching a hole in here, and then hang the charm right off the end. I don't know how well it's visible on the camera here, but I think that little bit of glitter looks very nice on the tree. Also, punching a hole in the top is quite simple, and natural jute or natural cord goes perfectly with the cardboard, so you don't really have to even paint it if you don't want to. So I think my angel is dry enough now that I can attach the head to the body. That skirt was a little bit wet, and I'm going to put this on the side to dry. I think that you can see what I have done with that. Now, I'm sure you're interested in seeing how I made the wreath. If you're interested in continuing on with this and you see how simple it is, I made the wreath with the simplest parts. So, I will bring this down and show you. I started, just as we started with these other ones, with 5 rings at a 1/2 inch wide, and I painted them green first. That was my choice in this case. I'm not sure in future what's better, if you paint it first or second, but the difference is you want to paint the inside as well as the outside because you're going to be seeing both, all right? So I did the same thing where I glued 2 together to each other, 2 to each other, and then the 5th one and joined them, and they dried. And then I made a whole bunch of them. So let's see, how many do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9. And I had seen a wreath on Pinterest, and I thought, but how do I figure out the shape of the circle? Well, if you can see, and I hope you can see it on this camera, what I did was, I'll move these so you can see, I drew a circle on this piece of cardboard. I took the largest bowl that I have in my cabinet, and I drew a circle. So I knew I had an exact circle. And then by laying down these pieces around it, I could see how to make the right shape. Now, they didn't fit perfectly in the circle that I picked, but it didn't hurt anything. It showed me what the shape of a circle should be, because I didn't want it, you know, fat on one side, skinny on the other. And then I put the glue to attach each to each all the way around, and I let them dry. So after it dried, then I decided what to put in the center. What I ended up doing with the center was I cut a smaller ring out of a wrapping paper roll. I painted it red, and I did the thing where I folded it in half, and I pinched it to dry. And after I put together 3 segments like that, you could see I had 6 petals showing of my poinsettia. And what I found was, in order to attach it to my wreath, I put a little piece of felt and I hot glued it to there, and then I could hot glue that to the rings that I made. So what I'm going to do is, so I hope you understand what I'm saying there. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to take the wreath right off the wall that's behind me. It's hiding back here on my refrigerator. I will remove this sample cutout that's here and put the wreath down so you can see. So it's basically this little piece, the little felt behind it. I put it on the center of each of the rings, and then I put a little jingle bell on there for just a little gleam of gold. I really think it made it look pretty. It made it look special. And this is the wreath that I made with the paper towel rolls. So I hope I've covered everything about this project that I could possibly tell you. Let's bring the camera back up and see. I'm trying to see if there are any questions waiting. I don't see any questions waiting. I hope this was helpful to you in doing a little decorating here on a snowy day. I really appreciate you coming every time we have a class. And what a great day to do it. If you took a break from shoveling and came in, I really do appreciate it. I want to mention that the library is open even today for curbside pickup. There are little library elves working in there, packing up bags in there. So if you need a grab and go bag, if you want a special binge box movie collection, if you need help with your hoopla, if you need to re-sign up for your card, they are available right now in the library, so they can help you. Call our number and someone will help you. Renew your card online. A lot of people's cards are up for renewal at this time of year, so visit our website at warrenlib.org and you would be able to renew your card from home or bring it down to one of our branches, bring your information, say your driver's license, hold it up to the window. Do you know our branches all have Ring doorbells? We can come to the door and help you. I'm so sorry we're closed to the public to come into the building, but know that we're all working every day to get you all the information that you're looking for from your local library. We miss you, we appreciate you, and we wish you the best. If any questions pop up about this project underneath, I will be answering them. And know that this video will stay up on Facebook and it'll also go to our Warren County Library, New Jersey YouTube page where you can see all of my craft videos and all the videos that our library's been making. Thanks so much for coming. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a great afternoon.